What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by StockX. StockX is the world's first online stock market of things for high-demand consumer products, including sneakers, watches, and handbags. StockX connects buyers and sellers using the same methodology as the world's stock markets, an anonymous, live bid-ask market. All products are physically authenticated by StockX, allowing participants to focus on the transparency of data available, including real-time market pricing. That means no stressing about shady buyers and sellers, no lengthy descriptions, and no blurry photos to decipher. All watches are in excellent or better condition. All you have to worry about is finding the watch you want and placing a bid you feel comfortable with. Stay tuned, because next week we will be announcing an exciting giveaway on a killer watch that you won't want to miss out. Visit StockX.com/smoking to check out StockX today. That's StockX.com/smoking to check out StockX today. All right, we also got to talk about, oh man, working on cars can be a pain in the ass, even when things are going well, and so often they don't. What you don't want to find are weird, stupid surprises, and one way to avoid those surprises is to use Continental belts and hoses on your car, especially these OE belts. I bet you didn't know Continental belts are OE on tens of millions of Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, and GM vehicles that roll off the assembly line. They're also OE on the majority of BMWs and Volkswagens. Now, Continental is launching the aftermarket multi-V belt with the OE pedigree. It's their OE technology series, belts that are fanatically engineered for perfect fit, form, and function. And Continental has an OE technology series multi-V belt for 98% of the vehicles on the road in the US and Canada. Listen, if a belt goes bad, it's going to go bad quickly, and it's going to go bad in a place you don't want it to go bad. Avoid that with the Continental OE technology series multi-V belt, the belt with the OE pedigree. Get the full story at oetechnologyseries.com. That's oetechnologyseries.com. Okay, on this episode of the show, I have wanted to talk to this gentleman for a while. He's a bit controversial in the BMW community. Some love this dude and some hate him. Erik Keller is here from the Enthusiast Auto Group. And at Enthusiast Auto Group, they are BMW enthusiasts, and they have one mission: to sell the finest examples of vintage and modern M cars in the world. And when that is your goal, the cars are going to be expensive, and that's why he's controversial. He's got some high prices, but he backs up the goods with the cars and a lot of happy customers. I'm happy to talk to this dude. I think he's really interesting. Erik Keller from Enthusiast Auto Group is in studio. Here we go. What's up, folks? Smoking Tire Podcast. Back from my travels and here in studio with Erik Keller, the owner of, as I flub it, Enthusiast Auto Group. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thanks, Matt.
Welcome. Thanks for coming in, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're passing through?
Yep, heading to thermal.
Bring that down just a little bit, that mic. Bring it just, right.
There we go.
Yeah, just so it's right in front of you. There you go. Now it's good. You're heading to thermal.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, tonight.
Oh, nice. What are you driving?
Singer. Remember that gray M1?
Shitty Life?
Yeah, right? Remember that gray M1 from
the
Pebble?
M1 that's got the body kit on it?
Yeah.
What's the story on that car? Because it's not a pro car, but it's not...
Depends on who you ask.
Is it a restomod?
That's a good fitting, yeah.
Yeah? Who is responsible for such a thing?
Bruce Canepa.
Oh, is that Canepa creation?
Yeah.
Oh, so what's been done to it?
I think it's pretty much just kind of a resto-mod of, as BMW build a pro car with some modern touches, still running the M88.
Here, the good news is, I don't know if you know this, but it's a video show, so we can actually, I can have the audience see what we are seeing.
Yeah, it's a cool car.
Sexy car.
Gorgeous.
It's not been, I don't think it's been overdone. I mean, I've only know it from pictures, but
yeah.
Some sort of modernized wheels, but
Yeah, I think they're BBS style 5s with just those covers.
Yeah, haven't gone too far overboard.
No.
Yeah, like remember when the Ring Brothers did that yellow Pantera, which was very beautiful, but went like a little too far.
Yeah,
they could have dialed it back 10%.
Yeah,
this is about where. So you're just gonna go have a go in that?
that, a couple other BMWs, some stuff we've sold him over the years.
Really? Just as a little thank you?
It's a cool story because he's like my first really big client.
Bruce is?
No, not Bruce. The guy I'm going to see.
Oh, the member at Thermal, presumably?
We'll just call him Paul.
Paul. All right.
Yeah, so he's probably the first really big client. I sold one of my best first big cars to him. Mm-hmm. So it was, I think, 08, 09. Yeah, pull up, yeah. I'll show you. Actually, it's a good car to...
Is it on your website?
Yeah, go to E28 M5s.
Okay, hold up. I should have been more prepared, sir. Where do I find your M5? Here, E28 M5s. The pinnacle
That's it.
of E28 M5s. What made it the pinnacle?
This is a good story. So I bought it from the first owner.
Okay.
Out east. Probably not far from where you grew up.
Connecticut?
Mm-hmm. I think he was in... I want to say he was in Mass.
Okay.
Had 5,125 miles.
Okay.
Bought it from his caretaker, but he pretty much interviewed me, made sure I was good enough to take care of the car after him. It was the coolest, nicest E28. And E28's our story, kind of. I started our business focused just on M's after owning and driving an E28 M5 and the experiences that I'd had with that car, both good and bad. And that was the best one. Sold it to this fella for just over MSRP, which was the first time I'd sold a car for that much money.
Just over its original MSRP,
That's
which
right.
from 1985 was what?
45 and change.
Okay. Well, that was when? What year? How long ago was that?
I think it was 08.
Okay, so that was a ton of money at that time.
Yeah,
they were
10, 15 grand all day long.
Now no one's sneezing at that.
Yeah, that buys you
That buys you a running car
with some rust.
Yeah. I had to go in. I was down at Spartanburg doing a thing with BMW. They let me have like 40 laps in their M1, the red one that's got a bunch of miles on it that I guess the CEO drives around.
Yep.
Fucking great running car.
Yeah.
Didn't miss a beat. I mean, it was like a slow Lamborghini that worked properly.
Mark Norris sorted that out for him. They had some
Oh,
problems.
really?
Yeah, you know Mark.
It was an ace car.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark. No, I know
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
Ralph's Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I drove. They let me have a go in their E28 M5. It was spectacular.
It's a great car.
Spectacular to drive.
Total Q ship.
Because by today's standards, it's pretty small and pretty light. But unlike the E30 M3, it has actual torque. So it makes it really nice.
The motor's great.
Great motor.
And they're
great
bulletproof.
seats.
I mean, that's why they all have big miles. I mean, it's a bulletproof
Yeah,
car.
every one you find is like 200K on it now.
Yep,
Yeah.
but it's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I sold this one to him. And he had it till 14.
okay.
He decided he was going to sell all of his non-airbag cars. So I bought this
Commitment.
at E24 M6 that I'd sold in black on Lotus that had 5,000 miles when I sold it to him.
Okay.
And then the quote-unquote the white bubble car.
What's the white bubble
that was
car?
the 91 E30 M3 that Turner put a motor in.
Oh.
2.5. It was a gorgeous car, all done up for a Concours O-Fest 2000, I think.
Okay.
And it was more of a, let's make this car beyond perfect and see how the judges react, and it got second.
Okay.
And so, long story.
They
with that
reacted
one,
almost ideally.
Yeah. So, bought all three of those from him.
Wow.
Decided to hold this one back and put it in our stable for a while.
Okay. So you still got it?
I just sold it back to Paul.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
So now we're going out to do the meetup and the fun times at Thermal?
He has no clue, but I've got the car sitting there waiting for him.
Oh, awesome. How
Yeah.
nice of you.
Yeah.
Have you been to Thermal before?
Not yet.
Oh, it's rocking.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, it's August 29th right now.
gonna be hot.
It's a tough time to go to Thermal.
We're starting at like 6 a.m.
It's a tough, yeah, no, dude, yeah, you're gonna run from 6 to like 10, and then you're gonna go sit in the clubhouse until about 4:30 and run until 8.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's Thermal. For those who don't know, the Thermal Club is in east of Palm Springs. I think technically Palm Desert.
Yeah.
And it's a really funny place because it's a private country club, but it's on private country club racetrack, and it's on a piece of property that is very obviously a square. And so if you look at it from above, it looks like a game board where you try and fit all the racetracks and stuff onto this one square. It's not like, a track in the Midwest or something where you have some sort of sprawling kind of property. Right. So I always find when I'm driving there that I'm hyper aware of where I am on the game board. But they have really good tarmac. And you can run a few different configurations, and their restaurant is really good.
The hamburgers.
Legitimately good. Not even good asterisk for a racetrack. I mean, good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
nice.
I've heard they have really good hamburgers.
They do actually have really good hamburgers and really good salads. It's the only restaurant in the world where you can get a decent salad.
Nice.
So let's go back a few years.
Yeah.
You did you become this enthusiast from the E28 M5, or you don't just fall into an E28 M5? Where did it start?
Well, the BMWs, we'd had a couple growing up. We kind of came from we'll call it a lower middle class background. Our grandfather was a John Deere equipment dealer in Michigan. Mm-hmm. And then my dad kind of followed his footsteps, opened up his own independent farm equipment dealership. And so we learned at an early age, you got to take care of your equipment.
And where was this?
Southern Michigan, northern Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that you learned the subtle art of maintaining your shit.
Yeah. Painted a lot of corn heads. Painted a lot of wheels.
I'm sorry, what? You painted a lot of what?
Corn heads.
What is a corn head?
It's the finger attachment.
Oh, the thing that cuts the corn.
It cuts it down,
like
with a big auger in the middle.
The rake that sticks out
That's
front.
it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So
it's called a corn head?
Corn head.
All right.
Grain head.
Yeah.
So put a lot of plows together. It was, good, hard, honest work.
Yeah. So, after you work on like combines and plows, does a BMW M5
it's a lot
seem
sexier? Yeah. It's a lot sexier, but it's the same principles. I mean, it's a very basic mechanical experience.
But did you grow up in a muscle car family?
No, we had a lot of just normal, boring Mazdas, Ford Taurus wagon. I mean, I grew up in the back of that damn thing.
Yeah.
Dad caught one on fire once. That was an interesting story.
A Taurus wagon?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Something we all like to do.
Yeah.
To aspire to.
Yeah.
I had, speaking of things catching on fire, I had a random storytelling. I had two people in this very same day tell me, this was at Radwood in Atlanta on Saturday, about Aston Martins that spontaneously combusted. One was a V12 Vantage that just combusted outside the dude's house, and the insurance company refused to believe it wasn't arson and wouldn't pay him out on it. And the other one was a Vanquish that caught fire in someone's garage and burned the house.
Oh.
Yeah. I have a Vanquish. It's in my parents' garage.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Yeah. Sorry, Dad.
But yeah, spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
Or Taurus for your dad.
Yeah. So we did that till late 90s. Dad jumped in with another business partner. And then Dad sold his portion in 2007. We came down to Xavier in Cincinnati.
Okay.
And married the local girl. Ended up.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
And we just learned that if you really take good care of your stuff, and people are going to want it. And the whole experience I had with that E28 M5
was your personal car.
Yeah, it was my second BMW. I had it in college. Sold my first one was a 525 that I ended up selling one of my business professors. Made like
525 is a college professor's car.
Well, and it was green.
Yeah,
tan interior.
It's the most business professor's car.
Yeah, so I made like $3,000. I'm like, that was better.
This is a thing.
That's better than waiting tables. And
hold on a minute.
Yeah. So what's better than 525?
Well,
an M5.
Yeah.
So went down to Louisville, Kentucky, picked this thing up for like $12,500. Took it to a local. I'd always do all my oil changes and any work I just do in the parking lot at the school, and then had to do a valve adjustment. I'm like, maybe I should call professionals. So I asked everybody in the club who's the best shop in town. They recommended me this BMW facility and took it there for an oil change and a valve adjustment.
Okay.
It's like $600. 3 days later, hey, car done? Nope. It's going to be about $4,000.
Oh, God.
I'm like, what? He's like, radiator's leaking, this, that, the other. Did full rest of the inspection too for you. Water pump was leaking, so we just changed everything for you.
That's not how it's supposed to go.
Right. That's kind of what I said. I'm like, this is the $4,000. I mean, this is my beer money.
It's a third of the car.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I bought it to make money, and I would, I'd do it if I knew it needed it, but I would have done the stuff myself.
Yeah.
More if I knew it needed that much.
Yeah.
So I decided that there's got to be a better way.
Did you have to pay him?
I did, to get the car back. Yeah. It was a bad experience. So which mechanic was my first hire? His. So he's still with us.
Really?
Good old Kent.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Kent.
Yeah. We call him Dusty.
Is the other place still in business?
Barely. But I learned, and it was good for me at the time. And
so that was that. Did you just decide, when did it become more than just you?
Well, with driving that car, I connected with the car. Like I mean, the analog experience. It was just
Let me ask you something. Once you paid the $4,000, when you got in the car and drove it home,
it drove the same.
It drove the same.
I mean, I was pissed. So I sold it. I think I broke even.
It sucks. That's why maintenance sucks, because the best fucking thing that can happen is nothing. Right now I'm in a physical therapy program. My back is destroyed. My knees are destroyed. My body is just fucked. And I do the absolute best I can in my circumstances to stay healthy. But the best thing that could possibly happen is I don't end up in the hospital. Nothing is the best thing that could happen. I'll never be thin. I'll never be six-pack, but the best case scenario, 0. That's so shitty.
Yeah.
So how bad did you get hosed on that M5?
I think I broke even.
Did you? All right.
But that is like M. I think that those cars are probably something special, and I think they might hold their value. And I think I bought my next M car was my first M3, which was a Dynan Stage 3 supercharged E36. That was fun, a lot of fun, and just kept 1, 2, 3 M cars throughout school. Selling them, paying for school, still working, and double majors. Just
always keeping a rotation.
Yeah. It's fun. You're driving different stuff, and you get to kind of taste the rainbow. And if you don't lose money doing
it, if you're a college kid and you got 3 BMWs, even if that's your business, you must be reasonably pimping in college.
It was a lot. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I know what it's like to have a nice car in college. It helps.
Yeah. Especially Xavier's not exactly a super party school. It's
no. I never really hung out there. Maybe that's why.
That's probably why. Yeah.
What's it known? Isn't it known for basketball? And
they've got a good basketball team.
Yeah. What else do they do there?
Drink.
It's not known for being a party school. They just sad drink there. They don't have in ASU. They happy drink. Xavier, they sad drink.
It was a really good school. The business school was great. Entrepreneur programs, top notch. It was a great school. I mean, I started my business plan for one of my business classes. I wrote the plan, and just
wrote the plan for EAG in a business class
at school.
How convenient.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
for fucking homework.
Well, they said
someone grade it.
They said go out and find a business and do all this free stuff for them. I'm like, well, I'll just do it for myself.
I mean, it's actually the foresight of that is impressive, but it's also, I tell people a lot who want to get into the industry I do, they go, how do I do it? And I go, look, you have to be prepared to be a slave. You could be a slave for yourself, or you could be a slave for someone else. It's your choice.
Right.
And you had that same thought. You said, I'll be a slave for me.
Yeah. I was driving to visit my parents last summer, and kids are in the back and finally sleeping. And I'm thinking, how many jobs have I had over the years to get to this job that I've now done 18 years? 21.
It's a bunch.
Yeah, it's a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs. But it showed me 20 things that I didn't want to do.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably a few that you wanted to do, but in different ways.
Better ways.
Yeah.
Smarter ways.
Yeah.
So
what was the one?
Detasseling corn and sorting potatoes.
You've been asked that one before, have you?
Sorting potatoes, it was awful. I mean,
Sounds like prison.
Have you ever, smelled a fully rotten potato?
I have, and it's fucking gross.
Oh.
It's super gross. Yeah.
But now the cool, fun thing that we did, because the one guy the boss that was really a jerk, we'd sort them all the rotten ones, and we'd just get an extra bag. We'd fill that up. And it's hotter than heck, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, we had to put that in his trunk. It was
so cruel.
Yeah, well,
I put a fish in someone's car once when in college. It was really, really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't find it for like a day or two.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really, really bad.
yeah, I can imagine.
So you literally, did you start this business, was it was it going on in the background of all these other 21 jobs?
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
cool.
It was always going on. I think I had 17 cars before I graduated high school.
Wow.
And my dad would take us to different dealerships.
And he was supportive of this enterprise?
Yeah, well, I mean, he would set us in the office with the sales manager, and it's the same guy Dad's done all these different deals with, and basically we're watching him do the art of the deal, not only with the cars, but also in his business, buying and selling farm equipment.
Yeah.
So he'd always do a coin flip if they couldn't get on the price. $500, split it.
Fair.
Winner, wins.
You still do that?
I haven't done it in a while. It's been a long time.
You don't hangle prices anymore.
No,
right?
well, we've got consistency, and that's what's really important, because we know what the last one sold for. We know that every car goes through the same process. And I mean, we're spending sometimes $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 just rehabbing what we call a rejuvenation of the car to make it right. So every car, whether it's got 80 or 8,000 miles, it's leaving constantly
ready
consistent.
to drive.
Yeah, and enjoy.
So at what point did the last of the 21 jobs go by the wayside and this became the full-time enterprise?
04.
Not that long ago. I mean, it's 14 years, but not that long ago for something that's, that established.
Yeah. So my brother, he went to Dayton, then got smart and decided to finish up at Xavier, and brought him in. I guess it was 05. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was 04. And he had a really bad car accident in 04 and learned the hard way that tires are the most important thing on a car. 33 bones in his legs. Yeah, it was terrible.
Were the tires old or were they worn?
They were both. They were super old. It was a 84 318i. It was my beater car. It was, I literally bought it for $800. Drove it to my dad's shop, washed it, painted it Ford Thunderbird white because I just didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And
Ford does have a particularly terrible white.
Yeah,
their white is horrible.
It's like matte. It's like flat.
It is. It's a pure rental car
it's
white.
The delivery van. It's like like those Amazon vans that are everywhere. The worst, terrible, most awful drivers in the world. They're always all smashed up.
Temp van, temp driver.
Yes, nailed it. So he just it was raining. Sun came out. August. Slid in front of a bus. Hit it head on. So from
is he okay now?
Yeah, like you, he's got chronic pain and
ongoing.
And you wouldn't know looking at him. He's tougher than nails, super tough.
I'd probably guess 33 bones. I would guess.
So yeah. So he jumped in with us. Literally, he just went super speedy recovery. And I remember the first building that we rented. It was an old Gulf gas station, and I'll maybe pull up some pictures. And so Evan's pushing me around in the scaffolding.
Wait, can you tell me where to find it instead?
It's on Dropbox.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's instead of the walker, he's pushing me around on the scaffolding, painting this building.
Okay.
And he's definitely been with us ever since. Just super instrumental in everything that we do.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're always focused on M cars.
Yeah, I mean it's special BMWs
and special BMWs,
Z8s, and the fun, rare, enthusiast cult oriented stuff.
Yeah, I first heard of you guys from a couple of people. My friend Adam Bellin bought a clown shoe from you guys.
Yeah, black one. New York.
And Zuckerman, of course.
Yeah,
and some other people. I think you had a couple of at one point. I think when E30 started to get very expensive, I think you had a couple of sort of breakout cars that were like insanely priced because they were museum pieces or whatever it was. So I remember at first hearing like, holy shit, this place is really expensive. And then I people who like to buy old cars without any hassles tend to buy them from you.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be interesting to see what it is that makes you tick.
Yeah, and I appreciate having us out here. We just we're very lucky to turn our hobby and passion into our career and surround ourselves with great people. We've got more than 24 people full time, full restoration shop, full service center, probably 40,000 square foot of facility and storage.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, it's a blessing. We're super, super fortunate. Right place, right time. When the market turned down, I decided that if we're going to buy M's and all these E30 M3s hit the market, that's the first thing to sell when shit hits the fan.
Yeah,
luxury item.
Yeah.
So I think we had 27 E30 M3s at once.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the highlight.
And just buying anything you found that wasn't full of rust, pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit looser back then. I mean, we didn't know what we know today.
Yeah.
And you learn as you go and try to keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
And back in the early days, I mean, it was tough. I mean, it was definitely tough. But 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week, every week. But we knew what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go, and the mission statement, just industry standard of quality. We just wanted the best.
Did the market come back in a way that you sort of predicted?
Yeah,
it did. Yeah.
I was pretty confident that the quality, whether it's a great car or not, as far as cult following.
Yeah.
If you got the best DeLorean, it's the best one.
Yeah. I did have the best DeLorean.
Did you sell it?
Yeah, I got a lot of money for it.
So there you go.
I sold it for $57,000.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and the guy who bought it from Germany. So he paid bring a trailer, buyer's premium. He paid in euros, and then he had to ship it from L.A. to Bavaria. So he probably paid $75,000 for the fucking car.
Lots.
Yeah, it was the best one though, actually, and I don't say that lightly. I went well out of my way. I didn't like driving it at all.
Yeah,
big surprise.
I've heard they're not.
No, I loved looking at it in my garage though. And
gorgeous car.
That was. I mean, every time I went out to the garage, I really, really enjoyed looking at it. Don't worry about it. Is the when you said you put up to $40,000 into a car to rehab it, is that?
It wasn't the right car that we shouldn't have bought that one.
Yeah, okay. I figured that's not a standard.
There was a mistake
procedure.
that was made, and it's usually an oversight, and somebody thinks that they've got something that's nicer than it actually is. And,
Yeah.
and thankfully, most of the cars that we buy, organically come to us these days, and it's every day that it's the best. It's the best one I've ever seen.
At this point, you got to be buying the same cars back and forth, right?
Isn't
that your
that's
thing?
my thing.
That's
yeah.
what Zuckerman said is your thing. He says you like to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the hard work is finding the right car and making it that much better. You buy the car that's an 8 on the 10 scale and make it a 9.5.
Yeah.
If you sell it to the right guy, it's always going to be a 9.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want it back?
Yeah,
All the hard work's done.
Yeah.
So,
I totally get that.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
That was the second E30 M3 we ever sold. The guy calls me back. A pair of brothers. It was a white and a black one. It was the second and third one we ever sold. This guy flies up from Texas with his brother from Chicago. They come meet us there in Cincy. And they buy Alpine white and a Diamond Shorts. And the Diamond Shorts owner in Texas owned it for about a year and a half.
Diamond Shorts black?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a metallic
black, right, yeah.
Yep, softest color there is for that color. And so he called me a year later and said, hey, I put a Nakamichi head unit in it. I changed the wheels to these contours, Diamond Shorts on Cardinal Red, which was a really good color combo, early color. And it's like, yeah, I know the car. It's a good car. So, yep, I'll take that, please.
It.
Yep. And so, I think that was, I sold it to him for like 21 grand. I gave him 18 grand back a year later. He was happy, easy, low, no hassle. And he knows the car's going to go to a good home. He built a little bit of a relationship with it, wanted to, keep it in the right, custodian, pass on the torch.
Yeah. When you said, you know some more things now that you didn't know then. Is there, what are some of the major, with like the early stuff, the E28 M5s and the E30 M3s, what are some of the major like big no-nos? Like, don't even spend any money on this car because you're just fucked.
I mean, it's the same with all the cars. It's rust.
It's just there's nothing truly unique about the problems with those cars. It's just
it doesn't have all the treating and undercarriage protection that the newer stuff has.
Just like, for instance, like example, like I have a 2001 SL Mercedes that I love.
Good car.
And it's really, really clean.
Yep.
Low mile car, one owner, great car.
Like
Aces.
built like a tank.
Built like tanks, really has aged well. If you're looking at one of those, you can have a car that runs and drives perfectly and that from 10 feet away will look perfect. But if the hydraulics on the top are blown, the top has a tear in it, and 2 of the 8 wood pieces are cracked in the trim, that car is basically totaled.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what I was trying to pry out of you.
Yeah,
if there's,
if there's
any big no-nos with the
dashes that crack are really hard to get, and so mostly you're left to just have to recover it.
Yeah,
and that's not cheap. The interiors are pretty.
And that's done by hand, presumably, right?
I've never had to do it.
Really?
Yeah, just avoid the car to begin with.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The leather, the recovering of the leather is never going to be a perfect match. The big, no for us is non-numbers matching. If it doesn't, not all original panels. Knowingly, I don't want to buy that car.
Really? And you have enough inventory of good cars that you'll never buy it just to go, well, maybe I'll sell this one at a 7 price instead of at a 9 price.
I don't really want to do that. It's 4 times as much work.
God bless you.
Yeah, it's just it's not what we're set out to do.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll take it.
Yeah. So the E30s, I would say the big thing on those is you definitely want to get a compression leak down test done because it can still run, drive great, and have low compression and be on the short side of needing a motor replacement, a rebuild. That's expensive.
What's an is it S14? Is it BMW?
S14. Yeah.
My BMW engine codes can be off. I'm sorry, but what is a rebuild?
I'll keep you straight. 15 to 20.
That's a shitload.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Especially 10 years ago. That was, and the prices have only went up, but not by a lot. It's always been really expensive, and that's why there's so many swaps.
So
I mean, if you look at 10 E30 M3s, how many of them have a swap motor?
Yeah,
6.
A bunch.
Yeah, lots.
A bunch.
And
actually, could be kind of fun. I mean, one of my favorite BMWs I've ever driven was an S54 swapped E30, and it was a rock star.
Yeah,
it was so great.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd probably spend 20 grand on something like that for sure.
Yeah.
Like a 325 with a 54 in it. Hell yeah.
Right. And we've had a couple. We've done a lot of work to do it right. I think the coolest one we had, it was a 6-cylinder M5. It was a S38 B36, so 3.6 liter. So similar to what Alpina or Hartke would have done of the time. That ripped.
And put that in an E30?
Yeah.
That must have been mobbing.
Yeah, it was
400 horsepower engine or something like that?
Yeah, mid threes, but
I bet that rocks.
But same torque.
Yeah.
And that just add torque in that car.
Yeah.
It just rips.
Because even the S54, you had to wind it, you
Yeah.
know, a bit. But the thing weighed like 2,500 pounds. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Super, super fun.
Now, but the Sport Evo, that's like the perfect balance of power to weight.
Yeah.
It's notably quicker than the U.S. cars. The U.S. cars are the most watered down, 192 horse. And they're great cars, but when you compare to what Europe had at the time, that the Sport Evo, the Evo 2, the Gianni Ciccato, those low 200, 215, and 220 horse. But the Sport Evo, it's 238, and that between the gearing ratio of that too, that's probably it's probably my favorite driving BMW total. Yeah.
I have only, I believe, ever had to gotten to have a go in U.S. cars. That's one, right?
Yeah, well, you should come out and you can drive everything from the U.S. car.
Oh, I'd love to
The Evo 2,
The,
Gianni Ciccato.
The U.S. ones, I mean, the U.S. ones are nice, but only in like third and fourth gear to me. Like the second gear, they just got no balls. You got to already.
You got if you keep it at 4,500 and up.
Yeah,
great,
lovely,
all the time.
15 grand for a motor is a lot.
Lot more for a Sport Evo.
For a 200 horsepower engine, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I just had a 911, an 87 911 engine rebuilt, and it's like 15. And it's, for a 220 horsepower engine, you go, God, that really hurts.
Right. And it's more on a 930.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Beautiful cars, though. I am a fan of the E30 size and shape has aged well beyond its years.
Yeah. Yeah. The flares, I mean, it's just a gorgeous, everything has a purpose. I mean, everything on the car does something. And it was just, the height, I think, of their engineering. And that's why they won so many races. It's, one of the most successful racing cars in automobile racing history.
Yeah. What about like some of the more, modern stuff? Because you buy E92s and E46s and all that. Like
hundreds.
Yeah. What's the market looking like on those these days?
Yeah, it's great. It's
Is
really
it
strong? Yeah, really strong.
Is that because you think people are not really about the turbo motors and stuff, or
I think in the car hobby as a general, not just BMWs, but I mean the analog, fully mechanical days are over.
Right.
And in the last couple of years, we now clearly see that there's no chance of it coming back.
Yeah, I mean, because the cars, the companies we would expect to produce such things are simply not.
Correct. And the
Porsche's still having a go at it.
Yep.
But
and BMW did a good job with the M2.
The M2 is lovely.
Yeah.
I like the M2 a lot.
Yep.
I just drove the fucking M550 XI, whatever. Yuck. I don't care if it has 450 horsepower. Get the fuck out of here with
it's
that.
numb.
It is numb. Like someone drove a Rolls Dawn and said, "Can you make it more like this numb?" Like really, it's distant, very distant.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean,
I think in some ways AMG is the new Mercedes.
New M.
I'm sorry, I said
okay.
the new M.
Yeah.
New E63 rocks.
Yeah, they've definitely pulled out in front, I think, on the newer stuff.
The engines are very exciting. That 4 liters,
Yeah?
that's very good. Yes, the 4-liter twin turbo Mercedes motor. That's real deal goodness there.
Yeah.
But E46s and 92s doing well.
The E46s again, high rate of attrition. They built 35,000 something like that coupes and convertibles for the North America, I believe, if that's right. But
And how many owners sent it?
Yeah. Well, and finding a later production car with a 6-speed, that's especially in the competition.
That's what you want, right? End of the run 6 speeds.
Yeah, I mean the competitions do the best. I think they made 2,410 of those.
What are those going for?
40 to 80.
Jesus, that's a lot of money.
But
It's not an $80,000 driving experience. Sorry to say.
If you had one back in the day, though, and you had all those great memories, it's not like the new stuff. And it's a car you can completely wind out, use 100% of what the car's capable of all the time, and not get in too much trouble. Tried to do that with that 4-liter.
I love the argument that slow is better, and therefore I should pay more for it. If I get slow car fast, I'm a hatchback owner. I understand all that shit. You know where I love slow car fast? At 19,995. I don't love slow car fast at 85 grand. 85 grand, I want fast car fast. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, A lot of fucking rich people out there don't give a fuck, man.
Well, and they had a lot of great memories in that car. They
Yeah.
built their business when they were driving the 325i, and they wanted the M3, couldn't afford it.
Hey man, I spent $45,000 restoring a DeLorean, so who the fuck am I to talk?
And why, you had that car, you had the poster, right?
It was more than that. It was I had the poster. I was obviously a Back to the Future fan, but my very first ever car magazine that my dad bought me when I was like 5 had the DeLorean on the cover of it, and so it was seared.
Yeah, there's love
was
both for
seared.
dad and the car.
For the whole
Yeah.
experience of it, it was seared. Yeah, I was glad I was able to make money off it because I expected to not ever see a dime back.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I here's the thing, that same Spartanburg trip I talked to you about before, I drove an E36 lightweight.
Yeah.
It
The
had-
Michelin car.
Huh?
The Michelin test car.
Could be. It had
If it's at Spartanburg, it probably was.
it had like 900 miles on it.
Oh, then not that car.
Yeah.
This had like 90,000.
No, this had 900 miles. on
Okay.
it.
So
It was-
Michelin used a lightweight as one of their test mules.
Okay, well, so this one was fundamentally brand new. It came out of their museum, and it drove exactly like a $5,000 E36 M3 that I could buy on Craigslist. And if it were to be sold at your store, it would be $100,000, easy.
Yeah, we sold lots of them.
And that's just that's numbers and it's mileage.
It's a
and
small club.
Yeah. But I don't know. For me, spending the big dollars is about a driving experience, and an E36 lightweight doesn't give that high of a level of experience.
Yeah.
So that's just me.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of history. I mean, that car was
Yeah.
kind of a turning point for the brand, and the big long story, the E36, almost didn't come to this market. The BMW guys wrote a letter saying, hey, we want this car, and they had tens of thousands of
The
signatures.
E36 almost didn't come to this market.
Right, too expensive. That's why they changed
It was
the
too
motors.
expensive.
Yeah. Eric
You mean the M3 or the
E36 M3?
just the M3?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
325 was
Oh yeah, I was like, what do you mean they were going to give up the 3 Series? Oh, you meant the M3, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's why we got the shit motor.
Yeah, because it made the cost projections work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you driven the one with the good motor?
Yeah.
Is it that much better?
It's notably quicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes some really good sounds. I mean, it's the predecessor to the S54, which is one of the best naturally aspirated engines BMW ever will make.
It is nice. It's a good engine. I've never been in the presence of the Euro E36, so I don't know. Just I'm Merkin.
Yeah, it's a great car. 6 throttle bodies. Yeah, it's a really
Probably
pretty
sounds
engine.
good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's so how many lightweights do they make?
126.
That's all 126. No, that's why it's so expensive. Yeah, we can do it.
Small club.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of unique stuff. I mean, aluminum doors. It's about 200 pounds less.
It just didn't
No
feel
sunroof,
just
which
didn't
is
feel any
great.
different.
Cloth.
There was one at the dealer when my dad was shopping cars when I was a kid, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Dad, look at it! But you should buy this.
He's
Look,
like-
it's the lightweight." He goes, "You want me to pay more?" And it's got no air conditioning,
That's
and
it.
no radio. He's like, "What are you retarded?"
Yeah, yeah. They didn't sell very well. We bought one.
There's
that's-
going to be 2015 Z28s with no AC. They're still sitting on lots. You can't get rid of them. Nobody wants them, and in 50 years, they're going to be worth $1 million.
Yeah.
But you gotta have a parking space for 50 years.
Yeah, and the overhead of that's
Yeah.
expensive. There's a lot of cars though. The Z3m coupe, the Z4m coupe, the late E30 M3s. All of those towards the end, they didn't sell very well, and they get big rebates.
Yeah, that's a car that has had a very long run and trickles out. Like I feel like like late FJ Cruisers where they sold like 7 of them a year. And what other car lived way past its prime?
That Taurus.
You know what's crazy is with stuff like Radwood and whatever's, and as car museums are hiring younger people, I'm starting to visit car museums and car shows and seeing really mint examples of like boring cars from the 80s and going, fuck me, I haven't seen an Escort wagon in like 15 years, and this guy's got one. Someone at Radwood just showed up with one of those diesel Oldsmobiles. Like from the early 80s when GM attempted to make a diesel V8, this guy showed up with a mint, perfectly functional, perfectly running diesel Oldsmobile. I think it was a Delta 88 or something. It was like, you can't believe someone has taken the initiative to keep this thing alive.
Yeah, they all have probably 300,000 miles.
Yeah, this one had the 40. I mean, who knows what happened to it?
Yeah.
Do you have you had some pretty eclectic customers that have either scuttled some things away or brought you some really bizarre stuff?
Yeah, we have. I mean, we've met a lot of really interesting people. And that's one of the best parts, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
And a lot of the business guys that we've met that have been quite successful and sharing our story with them and listening to everything that they share with us and how they got there and how they made it has honestly been massively helpful to get to where we're at. I mean, the client, now there's some bad with the good, of course, but you get that with retail.
Yeah.
There's one guy in Southern California that I think he bought 3, 4, 5 of everything. And a lot of people know the story. He'd drive one and just keep the others in wrappers. And when he was done with that one, the ideal was to go out and get another one, unwrap it, but he just never unwrapped past the first one. So actually, McNeil that was
like that Tommy Wiseau thing. You ever see the movie about the making of was it The Room? Yeah,
no, I've not seen that one.
He's a guy who doesn't know how to make a movie, and he starts by buying all the cameras instead of like renting them. That's like what this guy does.
Yeah.
Like, I think I want to collect these. Let me buy 6.
Yeah, he bought a bunch of Z8s, and actually that E39 M5 that just sold at Gooding was part of that collection originally.
Oh, what'd that thing get?
160 Hammer.
Wow, was it like brand new?
400 and some miles. Yeah,
160 grand. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a ton.
Yeah.
I'll take a brand new Panamera Turbo S. Thank you very much.
Yeah. At the same point, anybody can go out and buy that Panamera.
They could.
There's only one or 2 or 3 of those that are that low.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
but if the virtue of it is that it's that low.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a second one. That's his queen.
Yeah,
He's got his driver.
Yeah, all right.
More than likely. Yeah. Yeah, that was a big sale.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at how many 400-mile E39 M5s can there be? 0.
Yeah,
I mean,
just a couple.
There's got to be none. But it's a tough thing for me to personally reconcile, I guess, because it's just unless you have just a giant warehouse, it can shove it in a corner, and people do.
Yeah, and that sitting around that long on some of the older stuff is not exactly great for it. So then you've got to have somebody taking care of it all the time, and it's responsibility. Definitely.
Dude, cars are a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
If you have more than
10.
I would say less. I mean, maybe where you live, because you guys have a little more space than we have
that's
here.
true.
Here in Los Angeles, man, if you have more than like 3, it becomes like a real job.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Almost all day yesterday, all I did was drive my cars where they needed to go.
How many cars do you have?
1, 5. Yeah. It's 6. I'm trying to pare it down. Yeah. Oh shit! I just yanked out my headphones. We're still recording though. Sorry. I'm raffling off one of my cars this fall.
Which one?
The Fox Body, the Mustang, that one.
Oh, cool.
It's gonna be cool. Yep, there we go. Headphones back in the game. Don't freak out, people, if you're just hearing that for the first time. You haven't missed anything. There will be details, I promise. It's a legal thing. We're raffling off the car. It's going to be fun. Charity's going to get some money. I'm building a Safari 911. So,
yeah.
Off-road sports
That
cars
sounds
are
a lot of
very
fun.
cool.
Yeah, I saw one of those coming down, I guess it was 101.
Oh, from Monterey? Mm-hmm. What color?
It was blue.
Oh.
I just saw it from the back.
Was it like the light blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that car.
Yeah.
Lee Keen, who's doing these things, is building mine. Mine will be ready in about 3 weeks. It's gonna be up at Rensport.
Where are you driving it first?
Well, it's being shipped up to San Francisco from Atlanta for Rensport, and then there are a couple trails on the way back to LA. I was gonna hit right after Rensport on the way back. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm not gonna be hardcore off-roady about it. It's actually an urban thing for me.
Yeah.
Driving around LA in some ways is kind of off-roady.
Yes, it is.
And the idea of having a lifted 911 is extremely appealing to
Curb,
me.
no problem.
Curbs, and we don't have sewers here. They cut the rain gutters into the streets.
I noticed that.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't work when it's dry, and it doesn't work when it's wet.
No, yeah, driving a low car around that.
But when I had a Raptor and you can just mob over that stuff, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And so the idea of having a miniature version of that is extremely appealing.
That looks good. Sounds good.
Yeah. You mentioned briefly Z4Ms. Are those coming up?
Yeah, I think so.
Are they finally getting their due? The Z3, second gen Z3, always kind of outshined them.
Yeah, Z4M is a great car. They're stiff. They're definitely
Stiff, and they're a little heavy.
Yeah,
for their size,
3,400-ish.
A
Thereabouts.
little bit heavy for their size. How heavy is a second gen clown shoe? S54 clown shoe.
Just over 3,000.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah. And when they've effectively the same motor, slight output difference, but
S54 clown shoes they're hairy.
They're fun.
They're fun. I'm too big. You got to be. What do you think the hard limit is on height?
That's one of the first qualifiers I'll ask somebody. He's like, I want a Z3m coupe, and how tall are you?
I can't fit. I'm 6'2", and I'm 265 pounds, and I cannot fit. You got to be at least 2 inches shorter than me. To fit in
6 foot. I'm right at 6 foot, and that's
hard limit.
That's it. If I could take another half inch back, I would. If I could go another half inch down, I would.
They all have that cage behind them. Mm-hmm. They do, so you don't get.
So there's some tricks that you can do to get a little bit more room. But 6'2", it depends on your leg to torso ratio too.
Yeah.
If you're long legged, you actually probably won't fit quite as well. If you're long torsoed, you can fit a little bit easier because your knees are not hitting the stalks.
Yeah, the long leg is completely out.
Yeah.
It was very hard for me to drive one actually, which was unfortunate because it was fast and ragged and
when you
and
can you drive it with the right pedal.
Totally.
I mean, it's just that thing just loves to. It's just very tail happy.
And you feel like you're sitting on the rear axle.
You can touch the rear wheel almost. yeah, sticking your arm out.
Yeah. They're very fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they weren't super well received by the automotive journalist community when it first came out.
Yeah, why was that?
I don't know.
Was it because they still use some E30 architecture?
I think that's what makes it so great.
I got to go dig out some old Road and Tracks and see what they said about the clown shoe.
Comparing it to the the Boxster at the time, which was good car for its debut.
Boxsters are good. Mm-hmm. Boxsters are good,
but not great. By
not a '97 Boxster.
Right. Now the S54M coupes, both Z3 and Z4, have done pretty well. They're stable. The Z4M coupe is just starting to get a little bit more excited, but they made just under 1,800.
Not very many.
That's a small number over 3 years.
And they're all manual, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then the
Isn't the Z4M coupe the last BMW with a key? I think someone told me that. It's the last key start.
That would probably be about right.
I think the guy who brought me one to review said it was the last key start BMW. Yeah,
I think that's probably about right. I've never thought about that, but yeah.
Well, you can add it to your. You can.
You got to learn something new every day,
right?
Mm-hmm.
If you for your what's in your garage, your personal stable, is it in the on the website the R collection I saw?
Yeah, some of it is. Yeah.
Where did I navigated away from the site? Oh man.
EABMW.com. Yeah, the EAG collection right there.
EAG collection. Let's take a look and see what's in your collection right now. You got an M coupe
on 2 wheels.
On 2 wheels. What track is that?
I think it's Mid-Ohio.
Is that Mid-O? Mm-hmm. I'm racing in Mid-O in October.
It's a great track. It's one of the best tracks to learn the sport. I mean, that track has so much to offer.
You ever drive in the wet?
Yeah.
Scariest fucking place.
Fun.
Second
Especially
only to the Nürburgring for being scary in the wet.
I drove that in the wet.
The Nürburgring is terrifying in the wet.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. What were you driving?
M2.
Ooh.
Did the M performance school for 2 days out there.
Hell yeah.
And the second day, they give you the couple laps at the very end of the school once you put it all together.
Yeah.
Pouring. It was fun. It was a lot of fun though. It was a little bit nerve wracking.
It's hairy. It's really hairy. The spray paint that everyone sprays on the street makes it slick.
Super slick.
Yeah, it was gnarly. I'm gonna go back, I think, and do this course with Ron Simmons and Ross Bentley.
Yeah, from RSR.
Yeah. You know them?
I know Ron. He's a crazy driver. I rode with him at Spa.
Dude, I went out with him in his M3 in the pissing rain.
Yeah.
He goes, "This is gonna be really fun. No one's gonna be on the track." And we went out and just was doing drift laps, and he fucking looped the thing and almost tagged the wall. He was being aggressive.
Yeah, I rode around with a modified GTR at Spa with him.
Oh my god!
And he just went out. 10/10ths.
Bonsai.
Total.
Bonsai.
He was kamikaze. Everybody coming into the corners.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and it was, we made it.
He said he has 25,000 laps of the Nürburgring.
I believe it.
25,000.
That's a lot. Man, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
How many miles is that?
Takes a long time to do a lap.
Yeah, it's just over 21 kilometers.
13 miles.
What
is that?
A lot.
It's a fuck ton of Nürburgring miles. Doing that math.
525,000 kilometers.
Okay. So that's like 300,000 Nürburgring miles.
That's 325,000 miles.
That's so badass. That's so badass.
That's 10 times around the equator.
On the Nürburgring. So you've got an M coupe. What's the Enthusiast auto support vehicle?
That's our parts hauler.
Parts hauler.
Yeah.
It looks like a 335 wagon or something.
Yeah, it's that wrap has been on that thing for 10 years.
It's never coming off.
It's not looking too great these days.
And you got an 06 M3 manual competition package.
Yeah.
Wait, did I say that right? 06 M3 manual competition package. You've got an E30 M3, a 2002 Tii. Oh no, I'm so sorry, folks. I haven't brought the screen over. Forgive me. Let's see. Ooh, an M3 what is that with a stroker motor in it?
Yeah, it's
with a 2.5.
2.5.
What kind of power does that make?
About 240, 250.
Oh, that's got to be lively.
Yeah,
Is it
rips.
rev as good?
More lighter flywheel.
Really?
Big intake manifold. Big throttle
Do you guys
bodies.
do those, or do you send those out?
Yeah.
You do those?
There's nothing we don't do in house at this point.
Do you guys service customers' cars as
yeah,
well?
yeah, it's a good portion of our business.
And resto and stuff like that too?
We can and do, but we try not to get into the restorative work because the stuff we want to start with has to be quite a bit nicer to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's more of a rejuvenation. We'll
Right.
bring it back, recommission the car if it's been sitting for a long time. And actually, we've had just a ton of cars shipped to us. Mainly guys buying stuff off bat, and they buy it and just ship it straight to us. Say go through it.
Funny.
And then we basically do what we do and make the car right. But they're sitting in my chair making the decisions on how far they want to go because we don't have a filter. I mean, we just do it all.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big portion of our business. We have, I think, 25 cars right now shipped in from all over the country to go through.
So crazy.
But
That's
usually,
great business though, huh?
yeah, I mean, we know what we're doing, and we're so specialized. I mean, all of my guys have been with us for so long, and they're seeing the same cars day in and day out.
Yeah.
And so, doing E39 M5 clutch, that's an hour and a half.
Yeah, so you have you deal with 7 cars.
Yeah, it's like 12. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not, I mean, even an average dealership would be dealing with a way bigger variety than that.
Yep, and a lot of overlap stuff, between the models.
Yeah.
But
Tell me about this Z1.
I love that car.
I've never driven a Z1, but it's like I've always wanted to.
It's so much fun. Now you're gonna have some some fitment issues.
Are they that small?
It's about the same as a Z3m coupe, but obviously with the top down. That was a great day.
What was that?
That was the first Concours I ever put a car in. And they're like, "Do you want it to be judged?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
No. And the judges come by, and one of them knew us. And he's like, "Well, just have it judged. Have it judged." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, just judge it." And they're like, "So tell us about the car." I told them the car's history, and they're like, "What did you do to prepare the car for the event?" And the car was so nice. I washed it.
I got in it and drove it here.
It's exactly right. And turns out it won Best of Class, Future Classics. And so then I was hooked. I mean, this Concours thing, this is fun.
What is this seat about?
Yeah, it's a camo, and then it's got the painted color match backs.
Is the pictures? Is it just a strange picture though? It's what are the materials? It's like
a camo. It's like a
what's camo? Like before Alcantara?
Well, and then this is kind of an Alcantara finish.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of a nap to it.
Oh, but this pattern
more of
on
a-
the leather is
There you go. Yeah.
is a printed pattern. That's not cracked. Oh,
Correct.
weird.
Correct. Yep.
Oh, okay. The picture lied to me. I get it now. Oh, camo, actual camouflage.
Yeah, it's got a little camo pattern to it.
Fuck, I didn't hear camouflage. I'm sorry. I heard some. What is a wind deflector here?
That's the bar that the top mounts to.
Oh,
So I guess it's also probably it is structural.
and there's a gap there between the windshield and to let air. Does it direct air down?
Yep, and these little visors have a little vent to it, so you can kind of get the air exactly where you want.
Oh man, is it as fun to drive as it looks?
It is. I mean, it turns tons of heads.
Yeah.
It's a Z-axle rear, which is fun. It's a E30, drivetrain engine,
Right.
M20, so it's bulletproof.
Yeah.
167 horsepower. It's a slow car, but
Yeah.
it's really fun
Is
to
it-
drive
is
fast.
it heavy? They have to put a bunch of stuff
It's
in?
super light. All the body panels, come on and off real quick. You got to be careful. They crack really easy at this point because they're getting kind of up there in years.
Yeah. What are they made of? Fiberglass?
Now it's a early, I guess you call it ABS plastic. It's the bendy kind of plastic.
Rubbermaid plastic.
It's like that. Like the Saturn.
Like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
Saturn?
You beat me to it.
It's so funny
Yeah.
when you see a Saturn racing in lemons or something. Because they're like, that thing is way too nice. And you go, no, dude, it's plastic.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if it's a hunk of shit, it's going to look all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
These
a
have
fun
been.
car.
I've been watching these for a while, going,
Mm-hmm.
man, maybe I'll import one
Mm-hmm.
or something because they're just so different, and I love weird shit.
It's weird.
And I thought maybe if I found one that was fucked, I could put an S54 in that
That would be
instead of
sweet.
in a.
I'm sure
instead of
some
an E30.
guys have done it.
Someone must have.
Yeah. And Alpina and Hartke got their hands on him back in period 2 and did some small things to him at the time.
It's very tempting.
Well, and the colors, though, I mean, that was a wild color. And then they did a fun yellow, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I remember seeing a red, there's a white.
Green,
black,
Trom shorts.
Yeah. What's the market like on these right now?
You know, that's the first one that I found that was good enough for us to buy. And hey, I'm my own best customer at the end of the day.
Right.
And so, I kept it. And that's actually, I think I've owned that car longer than any car I've ever owned. I think I got it in 11.
Wow.
And it's taken that long.
I mean, the ones I've seen sell are not cheap.
No.
I mean, even the one I saw was kind of whatever. It wasn't great. And it was like $50,000.
Well, do you remember the red one at, I guess it would have been Bonham's 2 years ago, Monterey, had delivery mileage.
Oh, delivery mileage?
And it did 100 and some grand at the time. There's a lot of them in Europe that have sold for 6 figures.
Yeah. Well, delivery mileage, I feel like it should be high.
Should be, yeah.
Should be high.
Yeah, the sub 10,000 mile, that's going to be kind of your tier 1 market that's going to bring typically between 80 and $125 to even $150. But it's the color's a big thing with those. Mm-hmm. The rare colors.
What about driver quality?
Driver quality, you'll spend 50 to 70.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money for a slow car.
Yeah, it is. It is. Definitely very unique and way ahead of its time. I mean,
they're cool. I mean,
look at the flares here tying into the E30 M3. They got the bump out like that 8 I drove.
It's a must for every oddball collection, you know.
Yeah, so it's taken this long. We just got 2 of these actually coming in right now.
Z1s.
Yep. Yep, got a green one and just closed a deal with a fella from Europe this week up in Monterey for a yellow one.
That's awesome. How was your Pebble? Did you buy or sell or what'd you do?
I spectated. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of seen a lot of good friends. If you go enough years, know where to go and go to all the fun parties and stuff.
Where do you like to hang out?
Concours on the Avenue was a really good event this year.
Yeah?
That's, I think, probably one of my favorites, and I think a lot of people would probably agree with that.
Is that when they you mean when they drive to Carmel, that thing?
No, that's the tour on Thursday. The Concours on the Avenue. It's on Tuesday. So they stage, all the cars will drive in, 4 wide on, was it San Carlos?
I don't think I've ever been that early. Tuesday's pretty early, man.
It's super early. It's super early.
You're having a long car week. You're starting on Tuesday.
I know. Well, and we got in on Monday getting, shipping the cars in. But I know we brought a couple cars.
So that's, on the Avenue.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see if we can get some photos of Concours on the Avenue.
Yeah.
Here's Concours on the Avenue this year, huh? 2018.
Yeah. You might see a picture of us there.
What did you guys bring in?
We brought in a 88 Evo 2.
Lovely.
Red, real low mileage car. We sold it a couple months ago. And kind of funny, quick story. Sold it to a multi-repeat client in San Francisco, and he hadn't yet taken delivery of it. So I'm like, this is a good opportunity. I tell him 3 or 4 days before that, hey, we're going to go to Concours on the Avenue, and we've got a couple spots. They're going to do a BMW class for, I think, the first time. And so I'm like, do you want to go to a car show and put your new car in it? He's like, yep. So we park our car in the ship all 3 of them out. We brought an M635 CSI and then a 850 CSI. And the owner wanted to get there later than we did, so we drove to the event, and I parked the car in the parking garage, put the key in the tailpipe, sent a picture to him, said, your car's in the parking garage, here's where to go grab your car and meet us at the event. And he had an absolute blast. It's a great event. You can go and talk to all the owners. It's not, in your face, hoity-toity. It's really laid back and a lot of fun.
Cool. Tell me about that 850, because you rolled up here in an 850 CSI it's white over brown with a manual.
Yeah.
It is some car.
Yeah.
That thing is fire, man. I like that.
M8, I mean, that car.
It's really dope.
With that V12.
Yeah.
And cruising down here yesterday.
Did you drive that from back east?
No, I shipped it out.
Okay.
I was driving down here yesterday. I was like, maybe I should just cancel my flight and just drive this home. This
tempting.
I know. The car just soaks miles.
Did you highway it or did you take PCH?
Came down 5 through Bakersfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
the fast, boring way.
That's the sucky way.
I know.
Man. I'm sorry.
I know.
We need to work on it. At the very least, the 101.
I know. The traffic the day after is just. I want to get down here.
No, you know what my move is now? I do Highway 25. Do you know about Highway 25?
Mm-mm.
Oh, here.
Tell me about it.
We'll make it easy.
Yeah, bring it up.
I'm gonna pull up the map. I'll pull up. California. So Highway 25 runs along the eastern side of the mountains. So basically, it's It's over here. So
Okay.
Monterey is here.
Yeah.
Now, I don't usually come there from Monterey. I usually come up there from the peninsula. But if you were to leave Monterey, you basically come over this way and come down, and you can pick it up later, and you take it all the way down to the 198 and the 101, and this road is rad, and no one's ever on it. And so that is a really fun way if you want to avoid some traffic.
Next year.
Yeah. Or 101 is very nice too, but they've also just opened up Big Sur.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So I feel like we are obligated as in look at that.
It's so
Google,
so pretty.
Good job, Google Street View. Way to go during
Yeah.
golden hour and really
Right?
really make that work for us. Now that it's open again, I think next couple months of everyone's favorite magazines are going to be revisiting Big
Yeah.
Sur.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
It is. But is that 850 out of your for sale fleet or your personal collection, or what's the deal with that thing?
It's for sale.
It is. Is it in the series? Is it on the website?
Yeah, go.
We go
right there.
BMW, and then where do we have it? 8.
Yep.
Where's 8 series? It's the monitor. Oh, here it is. The monitor we're working from is a little farther away from me, but here it is. This thing is nice. Ooh, call for price. What's the price? I'm calling.
$150.
Is it really? Holy shit! Those things have gone through the roof. Wow.
Yep.
How many CSIs do they make?
225 for North America.
And how many of those are manual?
Oh,
Oh, they're all manual. Okay.
Yep.
225. Wow.
Yeah.
How many of those 225? Oh, here you go. Number 70 of the 225.
There you go,
it says.
yeah.
How many of those 225 are actually worth buying?
Yeah, that car had a pretty high rate of attrition. A lot of them sat.
Yeah.
And that car sitting,
Is bad?
terrible. Like the
Electronics?
worst. Everything. Everything.
They have the 2 ECUs? Is that this 2 ECUs?
Two of everything. 2 batteries. It's basically 2 M20 engines off an E30 fused together. I met Mr. Fisher, one of the designers of that, met his daughter, Amelia Island, this past year. So she's told the whole story of it, and it's a great motor when it's running right. But when it's not, it can be a pretty expensive.
Now,
lesson.
if it's running right, which yours seems to be, is it okay to keep running right?
Yeah, that's when you get one with miles like this one. This one's got 73,000 miles.
Miles are good.
Miles are good if you've got the right owner to behind it. Yes.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
careful miles
Yep.
or whatever.
No, I've enjoyed the heck out of this car. I've put 2,000 miles on this car this year.
So you said 73,000 miles on it.
Yeah, go back.
Where are we going here?
One more, right there.
This?
That's what's important.
Box and papers?
That's a 4-inch binder of records.
Oh, wow. Organized owner? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
He put like 30 grand in it in the last 4 years.
Oh, my God.
And then we put 10 more on top.
Unreal, man. There ain't no such thing as a cheap German car.
No.
No. I mean, even my SL, which, I bought for 17 grand and it's a beautiful car. I immediately had to do a set of tires and a service, and that was 1,500. And then a year later, the next service is 1,000. And that's just a bullshit car. That's not like a special one or anything like that.
And that's not even getting the cosmetics yet.
Hell no.
Right.
No, if I had to do cosmetics, it'd be a whole other story. Yeah. But I mean, this white CSI has a beautiful presence in the street. It looks tough as shit in my parking lot right now.
Yeah.
And you open the hood, and is there a picture of the engine?
Yeah.
You open the hood, the engine was not shiny, not overly cleaned, but clearly it has just always been clean. Like it's not like it wasn't filthy and you cleaned it. It's just it's running a little slow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just never been dirty. Oh, have we failed here?
Quick on that one.
We failed here, sir. Well, you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's clean. Fucking when we fuck with the video too much, it takes away. Sorry. What else? What else has been coming through that's been really impressing you in terms of being a good investment right now, or I don't know, trends? You want to go with some trends? If you got any.
Yeah, we're just very consistent. I don't really see a whole lot of trends.
Just slow and steady increases and good shit.
Yeah. M2s have, I guess, slowed off a little bit with the M2 competition coming out like last week or the week before.
Has the value, because you could buying a brand new 1M in 2011 and putting 50,000 miles on it turns out was the best investment anyone could have made.
Yep.
You could have driven a 1M for $0.
Yep.
and potentially even profited.
Yeah, and I didn't even see that coming. I mean, we didn't do a whole lot of them early in the days.
I drove the press car. When
Yeah.
I got one as a press car, I put
Yeah.
2,200 miles on it in a week, and
Ooh.
I went, this thing is great.
It does drive really well.
And I had a very wealthy friend who bought one and daily drove it and said, and was just like, this is the one, this is the one.
Yeah.
And I knew that it would be kind of special, but I thought because didn't they make a lot more of them in Europe
Yeah,
than
I think
America?
total they made just under 6,000. I think.
Yeah, it's like a bunch in
It's
Europe.
740 for the U.S.
Yeah, so I figured that would equalize itself eventually, but I
Yeah.
guess not.
And they sell strong in Europe.
Yeah.
It's a really good car. The brakes are great. The steering is probably the best thing about that car, I think.
They're really good. I think I actually preferred driving the M2. I like sitting down a little lower in the car, and the 1M I felt like I was sitting up a little high. I have the same problem. I don't know about you with E92s, BMWs. I feel like I'm sitting very high.
Yeah, the sedan you feel a little bit lower.
The sedan. I
Or
prefer the sedan to the coupe.
And grab a manual seat car and you'll sit even lower.
Really? Why is that?
Motors, all the mechanisms and transmissions under the seat are not there, and it just
Manual
seat.
Manual seat.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Idiot. Yeah. Manual seat car. Right.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
lower it. Got it. And then obviously no sunroof. Right. Gives you extra
But
room.
no sunroof will be a little bit more headroom.
Yeah. I put a lot of questions for you. You got a lot on Facebook. People want to ask. I didn't screen them, so we'll just find interesting ones in here. From my Instagram, I said Facebook, but I meant Instagram. What haven't we talked about? What is eventually what is going to be the most valuable M car? The E30 or the M1, I would guess.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah. Which that's a great car. We just got one of those earlier this year.
An M1.
Yep, 1981.
It was really fun to drive.
Well, and you can drive that car for as far as all the cars of that era, all these the Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Try to keep it running. I mean, it's a really usable, reliable car. Makes great noises. The engine's right there.
The intake noises are very good, and actually the brakes held up. I did some real lapping with it, and the brakes held up. It was good. It was good little car.
And the AC system doesn't suck.
Oh, the one it didn't work in the one I drove.
When it works. Yeah.
Vintage car air conditioning, you really have to reevaluate your expectations.
Exactly.
I mean, even on my 911, which is not that old, it's an 87, we took out Porsche's air conditioning system and put in a vintage air, unit.
Like one of the electric pump ones.
It's not electric, but it's a vintage air setup. So yeah. Let's see. As a South American 1M owner, can I drive the heck out of it, or is it sacrilege? I say drive it.
Yeah, that's the best part about these cars. I mean, it's nice to have a really low mileage car, and you've got the preservation side of things. But getting out and driving, and driving down from Monterey yesterday, I mean, the 2,000 miles I've put on this 850 CSI have been fantastic.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Do you freak out about mileage in your own cars?
No, not really, not anymore. I used to. But not anymore. I like to start with a really low mileage car. I don't drive it a lot, but when I do, I've still got all that original preservation quality, and it's easier to keep a really nice car really nice. You catch a stone chip, you cuss and touch it up and move on, and then after you get that first one, it's so much easier to drive it. Yeah. Because then, I mean, you care, but you don't care as much.
Yeah. I have a friend who, when he buys a brand new showroom car, will take a key and go to like the bottom of the bumper and key his own car. Like, just be like, all right, now I can't freak out about it anymore.
Now it's used.
That fucking Mustang back there, you can't really see it in the video, but there's a picture of my Mustang up there. Literally the day I got it back from being painted, it had baked or whatever, but I went to the canyons and they had graveled the road. And so my whole lower rocker panels got blasted. The one day, it didn't even make it one day.
Yeah.
So I go, well, fuck now.
Yep.
And now it's the driver's car.
Yep.
I mean, in hindsight, I'm glad it happened.
Yep.
It could have stayed too nice for too long, and I would have been afraid to drive the thing.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah, same thing. We just bought a E30 wagon for the first one we bought, and redid the front valance. Got a little Alpina valance on it. We drove it down to Vintage in North Carolina earlier this year, and 10 rock chips later. Now it's used. Now we can drive it.
Yeah, life.
So it goes.
Someone asked, please ask him about being hated, because I hate them. And I don't know if he actually hates you, but I think I think now that I know you, I think the criticisms levied at you on the internet are not valid. I think you just sell nice shit and it costs money.
Yeah.
Like,
deal with it. If you want to sit at the front of the airplane, it costs more money.
Yeah. I mean, if you're actually selling the rarest cars in the best condition and you're refurbishing them to as good as they can be, That costs a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not cheap to do it that way.
No, there's plenty of places to buy BMWs that aren't you.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, and that person probably should.
Well, yeah, and a bunch of people should, but I they're, if you don't really look deeper than the prices, you go, oh, this guy's expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
But shit's expensive sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about? I hypothesize that the V8 M3s are going to be worth a shitload of money, but I worry that the combination of early iDrive stuff and the rod bearing issue will have a long-term value on that, or long-term impact on that value. What say you, Eric?
I don't disagree with you.
No?
I think that's definitely the period at the end of the analog sentence with the naturally aspirated engines. The engine sound is to die for. It's important to buy the right one. You want to get as low options as possible if you want to not worry about the iDrive stuff.
Yeah. Oh, can you get one with no screen?
Yeah,
You can,
and
right?
no hump. Yeah,
That's the one to have, right?
that's rare.
Yeah.
Especially in a late car with a 6-speed
Yeah.
competition package.
Because they all had this. They all had nav like standard.
That's like the holy grail of Lime Rocks.
Oh, it's some of the Lime Rocks didn't have them.
Go.
I saw you had a Lime Rock.
We've just found the holy grail.
Is it in your cars?
Yeah.
I think the Lime Rock edition's real stupid. I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's orange.
I love that color.
Okay, so it's orange. Who cares? But what? It's just orange. That's it. It's just orange.
It's got a lot of cool aesthetic stuff to it. I mean, I personally really like it for the fact that it ties into the GTS. All the M3 GTSs with the stroker engine were the same fire orange.
Okay.
So they did tie it into that, even though they didn't bring us the big motor. It's the most special of what we could have gotten. Yes, it would have been nice to put a bigger motor in it and do some of the other Euro bits that they did on the CRTs and GTS. But as far as E92s go, if you want the final iteration, it's definitely
There's the no hump.
that's a no hump.
Yeah.
6-speed
I agree. 6-speed no hump is definitely the way to go.
manual seats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just have one in silver. I don't need the Lime Rock.
it's a lot more affordable.
Yeah. I actually personally unless it's particularly heinous, I am super open to colors and stuff on
Yeah.
used cars. I'm really flexible. I'm if it's the right car, I could care less what color it is. Really.
Yeah.
Tough to keep black clean in LA because the dust here.
The black stuff everywhere.
It's stuff everywhere, but here where it doesn't rain and it's all dust, just you're tempted to use a California duster and scratch the shit out of your paint.
No, I think the V8 Lime or V8 M3s in general, the later cars have some updates with the rod bearings. I think there are 3 different iterations of updates over the time. The later cars have a lot less issues with that. You send the oil out, have it analyzed at one of the laboratories. That's going to give you the counts to determine if you're having any wear. And if you're having the wear, then replace the bearings.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely has a place in BMW's history that certainly looks potentially good over the next couple of years.
Yeah. For me, it's a manual sedan.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like about the M3 and now the M4 is the length of the doors, the coupes.
It's a big car overall.
Big car, and it's got big fucking doors, and it's hard to open those doors next to other cars,
Get out,
whereas the sedans have the short doors. It's actually a lot easier to get in and out of.
Yeah. Yep. We parked a F80 M3 sedan next to an E39 M5, and I mean, it's
Same size, right?
Yeah. It's within an inch, and the M3 is bigger.
Yeah.
It's a big car.
I had an F80 M3. I got a great spec press car. It was the dope blue. What's the blue? Is it Laguna blue? Laguna Seca?
Yasmarina.
Yasmarina blue. Carbon ceramics, manual cloth seats. It was boss.
That is a great
It
setup.
was boss. And I took it to Gingerman and I hammered the fucking shit out of this thing for 3 days. It was awesome.
That was the very first track I ever drove.
Gingerman, fun track.
And it's safe. I mean, you're out in the middle of the field.
Great learning track. Although, you know what? You know that section way in the back where you go through that big bulb? I was there for an event once, and someone sailed their car so far off, they actually managed to hit a tree.
That's a
Trees
long
are like
ways.
100+ yards away from the track. This dude managed to hit a tree.
Did he fall asleep?
Unbelievable. Hit a tree sideways. He slid. It was crazy.
I don't know how you got that far.
I don't know. You can't.
He had to try.
You have to try. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. What's up? Do you deal with? Do you guys mess with like the '80s, the Alpina stuff and the Hartke stuff that's coming? I mean, I see a lot of it coming out of Japan on Bring a Trailer with the fun graphics.
Those are cool.
Is it time to buy into one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can find one, finding a good one of those.
The ones I see sell on Bring a Trailer don't sell for crazy money.
I don't think they brought the right car to market.
Really? Because I mean, they present reasonably well. I mean, obviously, I can't. I'm not.
They're really pretty cars, and they do a lot of unique things that set them apart. And some of those interiors, those cloth interiors with
awesome.
The stripes.
I love
the plaid.
The craziest interior you can throw at me. Just give me that shit. I don't care. I'm doing city. You see, look at this. This is for real. I hate to close this, but this is my actual interior on. Wait, this is my interior.
There you go.
On my Safari car. It's LA City bus fabric with Merlot leather.
It's sweet. That's really cool.
Yeah, you gotta keep it real crazy like that. So is that would you say get into one of those now if you're interested into an Alpina or something like that?
Yeah, I definitely see that as a good place to park money.
Yeah,
they're really great driving cars. Those Alpina wheels are probably my all-time favorite.
Oh,
wheels.
they're great.
Yeah,
I saw you put them on something else, didn't you? You put
I've
them
got
on
my Z1.
On the Z1, yeah, they look good.
Yeah,
aren't those wheels really expensive?
They are very expensive. Yeah.
They're like thousands and thousands of dollars, right?
You'll spend $2,000 to $4,000.
Yeah,
yeah, and expect more if you want staggered.
Oh yeah, right. And that's for originals or reproductions?
Originals that probably need refinished.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Are there any? Is there anything in this family of cars that is depreciating right now?
In the M world, anything new, M5. Holy.
Oh, like a 2-year-old M5?
Watch out.
Yeah.
I mean, a big M6, those will hurt you.
Oh, my God. The V10 cars? Does anyone want V10 cars right now?
Those have stabled off a bit.
At what, 25 grand?
Yeah, they're pretty soft.
It's
a great motor when it runs right. I mean, the sound of that thing super unique to the line.
Yeah, with the Meister shaft exhaust and shit.
Rips.
It's so crazy loud. They sound like Formula One cars. That was one of the first. That was the first car I ever cracked 200 miles an hour in. Was a V10
was
M6.
it the Dyna one or just a regular one?
Stock one.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, all they would do is delimit them, and they would go 200 miles an hour.
Ew. Wow.
Faster, like 207.
Wow.
They were so fast.
Stock.
Yes, fully stock. Fully stock.
Wow.
It was a manual convertible I did it in.
Oh, man. That's a heavy car.
Yeah.
Real heavy car.
Yeah. Ocean Parkway, Long Island. I think statute of limitations has expired.
Yeah.
I think we're good. But I don't. Does the customer right now not have the appreciation for those cars either? Is anyone asking for them?
The guys that love them really, really, really love them, and I get that. And it's good to get something that you're super passionate about and just dive right in 2 feet and totally focus on it and make that a part of your culture, part of your car life. Every once in a while we get some guys calling and looking for them. Of course, they all want the manual transmission. They all want the later production cars.
So funny. No one wanted them. Of course, nobody wanted the manual when they were new.
Well, and the new sales guys wanted to sell an SMG because it made more commission.
Yeah, there was easier allocation to get.
Super easy. Yeah, and then certain dealerships would get stuck with a manual and they're like, we can't sell this.
Yeah,
it's got too many pedals.
And the reviews at the time said that the SMG was better matched to the V10 than the 6-speed was. The reviews at the time were not kind to the 6-speed.
Well, the 6-speed was an afterthought.
Yeah,
they didn't ever design that to have a 6-speed.
Yeah,
and again, the Americans chimed up, said, "Give us a manual."
Yeah, because the 7-speed was a piece of shit.
It was not. Not great.
I worked at an exotic car rental company.
Oh.
It was a piece of shit.
The reliability is, especially on a rental,
terrible.
Oh man,
it's terrible.
Yeah, and they're not cheap to fix.
Expensive. No,
I think
it was $4,000 for the SMG pump or something. It was crazy expensive.
Yep. That's it. For a service shop, we love them.
What do you think about the dual clutch gearboxes in the 92s? Pretty good?
It's good. It's good.
Longevity's good?
Yeah, we haven't really had any problems with them. There's a mechatronic seal that's up top that the wiring harness goes through. That seal, they did supersede and did an updated one, so that will leak at some point, probably on all of them.
But the whole thing won't go bad. You just
you
seal,
just change a little rubber gasket.
Oh, that's fine.
And they're different colors, so they're easy to check with borescope.
Because at least the DCT is like
that's a good transmission.
It's a usable one. It's not like
I like the V8 DCT better than the current ones, personally. You got more range of motion. You got more different settings. You can go super soft and not feel it. You can hurt your neck if you want to, but it gives you the driver the control. Where the new one, it like does everything as a macro package.
Yeah.
and I would rather have the individual tunability of changing it the way I want it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that ethos. Someone wants to know: can a Cincinnati local come by and just see what's up?
Sure.
Do you accept pop-ins?
Yeah, it happens every day.
All right. Yes, the answer is yes. Let's see. Will E39 M5 values ever drop? I think no.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Here's a funny statistic. Probably 80% of the buyers of our M5s have owned one before, and if they've not owned one, they've owned two. Mm-hmm. It's just a great car that just does everything really well. So why would the value go down when everything new it doesn't give you that connection and that analog sensation that you're in total control of everything that's going on?
Yeah, I enjoy driving the E39 M5s. They're very nice cars.
And they're capable. I mean, it's not a slow car.
No,
but
and if you want a similar thing and you want to save some money, the Chevy SS with the manual gearbox provides a very similar experience.
Well, Car and Driver compared the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
In some ways, the SS is actually better.
Well, it's 15 years newer.
Yes, it is.
But
Sharper steering.
Yeah,
it's faster, but the M5 is like the right size.
Mm-hmm. It's not too heavy.
Got a lot going for it.
And you could do everything
Looks
with
good. Yeah. Let's see. What is the best engine swap for a 1973 BMW 3.0 CS? Something in keeping with the brand, but with more power. Wanting it to be my daily after the swap is complete. Good for you.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
What do you think?
I'd put a period correct, or not period correct, but an 80s, early 90s 6-cylinder M, like an S38.
S38.
Yeah, like that we had in that E30. E3. A couple people have done that.
Okay.
Do a later 3.8, change your rod bearings, just do a whole bottom end job.
Is that almost like if you take off the dressing, it almost looks like it could be old enough,
it
right?
It looks like it fits.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the end of that era. It's got 6 throttle bodies.
Yeah. And then you put that big foamy air cleaner thing over it at the end? Mm-hmm. No? Or you leave them open like a boss?
Yeah, I think the trumpets look pretty cool.
Yeah, they do. You got to have them stick out the hood. They go sideways, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They
about 45 degrees or something like that.
Ooh, good question. What do you think will happen to the M4 GTS values over the next few years? Where are they at now?
They're not strong.
They're not good, right? Because people realized the car was dumb?
I just sold mine last week.
You did?
It's my second car I ever bought new in my life.
And you're not about it?
I mean, if you use it on track, if you're using it the way that they engineered the car to be and live, it's a fantastic car.
But
I mean, a lot of friends that have them and are tracking the living heck out of them, I'll probably be driving one at Thermal tomorrow, which I've not driven that car on track yet, so I might have a different perspective 24 hours from now. Driving it on the street, it's a fine car. The exhaust sounds good for that motor.
Yeah, tough to make that car sound good. I've heard a bunch of different exhausts, and I've concluded the stock one is the best.
For the GTS?
For all the M3s, I think.
The GTS sounds really mean. I mean, I
don't think I've heard one driven in anger.
Yeah, it sounds really good, at least for that S55 motor.
Yeah.
But I don't think values, I think they've got to go down a little bit more before they stabilize. They went down fast. I think I sold mine for 90 grand, 100 grand. It was multi-trades, but you can go on any website right now and they're 80 to 100 grand all day long for under 5,000 miles.
Wow.
The carbon fiber wheels have some quality control issues, so be mindful of that too.
Were they built by Carbon Revolution or are they built in Germany somewhere?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It never really did anything for me.
Just keep it full of water.
Yeah, the meth thing, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hate fuel additives. That was a big turnoff, even if it's just water.
I will say I'm super thrilled that they brought a car to the States that has a factory built-in roll cage. That part's cool. No seat. I like that
That's
part.
Nice.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm with you on that.
The orange accents work. A lot of people don't like them, but I think it works for that car, especially in black.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. If I'm not bothered by a 997 Pumpkin GT3 RS, I'm certainly not bothered by the M4.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. The older X1 X-Drive 35i, which was basically like a slightly lifted 335 wagon, really. How does it fit the bill for a driving enthusiast car that can haul a 135-pound dog? I think pretty good, actually.
I've never driven one.
So I've never driven one either. However, I was at an event with a guy who had 3 aftermarket parts and an ECU controller on this thing.
Fast.
And this thing was making like 450 wheel.
Yeah.
And it was running quarter miles deep in the 11s.
Yep.
And it looked completely stock. It was a mega sleeper.
Yeah.
And so I say go for it because it's rad.
Yeah, the all-wheel drive certainly helps.
Yeah. How would you recommend approaching Rod? Oh, you said do an oil test. Blackstone or otherwise thing.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Let me know when you want me to buy my 88 M6 with 70,000 miles. That might be the kind of car you would buy.
Email us.
Give them a call. What do you prefer, the M1 or M2?
Depends on what I'm doing. They're both great cars. I daily drive an M2 right now.
I would prefer. I think the M2 is a little nicer to drive.
You can drive it probably with a little less stress. The M2, I think, is really well balanced overall. It's got good mannerisms, and you can drive it hard without getting in too much trouble.
Yeah.
The 1M, of course, you're going to be nervous every mile that you're taking over for some people.
I don't know. I think that's about. We got a lot of repetition after that. That's cool. I'm glad you got to come by, Eric.
Yeah.
I appreciate chatting with you, man. That 850 is super cool, man.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The windows down on that thing, cruising 100 mile an hour.
You got no B pillar?
Nothing.
Right?
Nothing.
Do you know buffering? Is it good?
We could be on the phone right now and you wouldn't know the windows are down.
So awesome. I think a lot of the cars. Is that car actually aerodynamic, or does it just look it?
It's really stable up high.
Because I
Really
find a
stable.
lot of the newer cars, right? When I drive newer cars, especially economy cars, hybrids, or electric cars,
Yeah.
I find like when they really focus on making them slippery, the buffering with the windows down is a disaster, right?
Headache, instant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like a lot of these new really aerodynamic cars, you cannot drive with the windows down.
They forgot that you have to engineer with that. Yeah.
Whereas when I go drive my old SL, like with the hard top on it, you put the windows down and you can have a conversation, and it's great because it's a fucking brick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the CSI was engineered at a time where everything had to serve a purpose and a function. I mean, the wheels, pulling in air to cool the brakes down.
Yeah.
Everything was well thought out, and they just did it differently back then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think some things they're doing today are right, but other things are, I don't know. It's tough if you love cars, because like on the one hand, look at the new Corvette ZR1 and the Shelby GT350R and and all this the fucking McLaren 720. If you had to go on one of those things,
Yeah, that thing is boss.
Yeah, I mean that's it. It's real crazy, right?
Yeah. But it's comfortable.
Very comfortable and fuel efficient. If you're just cruising, you get 30 miles a gallon in that thing.
Yeah.
That's what I love about that. Like 800 horsepower, 30 miles per gallon. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I just spent a weekend at Road Atlanta with a Hellcat Jeep, the Trackhawk.
How was that?
Funny in its own way.
Yeah.
Not good, but funny.
A lot of smoke.
From the brakes.
Oh.
The Hellcat just all-wheel drive, no burnouts. But I was lapping Road Atlanta, so it really demonstrates how 5,300 pounds and 700 horsepower is not the same as 2,500 pounds with 300 horsepower. You know what I mean?
With a high center of gravity.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It doesn't scale. At a certain point, there's just no amount of horsepower you can throw at something to make it better. You know. So I'm kind of like, all right, we can fucking stop with this. The race of the.
You got anything else for me to drive?
The race of the super. No, I mean like the Trackhawk is silly, and like as a street vehicle, like I'll give them credit to go from a regular Grand Cherokee to a Trackhawk as a street vehicle. To go from 300 horsepower or whatever the regular one is to 700, you give up almost nothing. I mean, you pay more for it and you burn more fuel. But other than that, it rides nice. The space is the same. Everything.
I think they look pretty good.
Everything works. They look pretty good. They sound pretty cool. There's virtually no sacrifice. But like, I feel like if they took those resources and made a sports car, it would be awesome. Like not even a Viper, like something that was just a little more svelte. But they don't. They just, because America, just make it bigger. Just SUV. There's more margins in shoving a Hellcat engine into a Grand Cherokee.
Probably, yeah.
Is there any? Do you ever stock X5Ms?
Not a lot, no. It's a capable truck.
They're same thing as the Hellcat. They're fun for nice street cars. They're fast.
Yep.
But
you put that big dog in it.
You could put the big fucking dog in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That with a little bit of the tuning done, that thing really wakes up and boogies.
Yeah. You ever fuck with the Franken cars, like where someone will build an E30 M3 wagon or something like that?
Not a lot. We did back in the early days.
Yeah.
We had a fair amount of cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're fun. But trying to get it all to work right and always work right is a constant effort.
There's a guy who's got a shop out here. You might know him. I think his name is Mark. and he's got a BMW focused body shop, and he likes to do. So he has an E30 M3 convertible that I think is a real one.
It is.
But you know him.
I know Mark really well.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. What's his last name?
Norris.
Mark Norris. Yes.
Yeah, Bavarian Workshop.
Bavarian Workshop. And he built an E46 M3 wagon that is so legit.
It's really cool.
It's 100% as good as it could be.
Yeah,
legit.
it's his wife's daily driver.
Yeah, it's a bad motherfucker. That car.
Yeah.
Mark Norris. Yeah. Shout out to Mark Norris.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah. I always see him at Cars and Coffee. Yeah. He's a good
He
dude.
goes, don't leave your car over the weekend. He'll take it to Cars and Coffee.
He's got a point.
Yeah.
What do you want to plug before you get out of here?
Redux Leichtbau.
What is that?
That is a E30 M3 kind of a Singer concept.
Oh,
Yeah.
is you guys are doing?
We have a little bit of a hand with Simon, the owner. We're supplying some of the chassis to him.
Where are they building these?
They're in the
things?
UK. So the
Really?
first one's going to be at our shop in 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh,
He's
Jesus.
just finishing up.
Are they $500,000 too?
Yeah.
They are?
A little less, but super cool car.
So
Lots of carbon fiber.
Give me the lowdown. Is it a carbon body, the whole deal?
He replaced a lot of the body panels with carbon fiber. He's still running an S14 engine. You're not going to find any pictures probably of it.
Leaked.
But we'll just.
Do you have a picture?
We'll show that
Here.
one.
All right.
Show
All right,
it.
we'll hold this to the camera. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go. So it's super lightweight. It's going to weigh somewhere around.
The focal length. The focal length
Yeah.
doesn't really work. Sorry, folks.
So-
You figure it out.
He's only going to build 30 of them.
Okay.
380 horse, 380 foot-pounds of torque on low boost. It's doing an S14 with a turbo.
With a turbo.
It's, very similar to the BMWs of the era.
Yeah.
the M10 bottom end with a big old turbo doing 12, 15
Yeah, like
horsepower.
the Formula One car. Where did I see that documentary where they're seasoning the blocks by leaving them outside? What remember this?
Was that Adrenaline?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, that's
they
a
did a
great
whole
show.
thing about they took the motors out of 2002s.
Yeah.
And then they left them outside the shop to like rust or get
I guess.
hardened or something.
Yeah. I mean, there's a story. I think one of those broke the dyno. Yeah. It stopped reading at 1,500 horsepower.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
So, that's going to be a really fun car. He's only going to build 30 of them.
How cool. So what's your role in that? Selling them?
We have a fair amount of clients that want them, yeah. I just want to own one and drive it.
Yeah.
I mean, take that to thermal. That'll be fun.
Can I have a go if I'm careful if you get one?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. I would like. Where are you guys, Cincinnati?
We're in Cincinnati, yeah.
So if
nice and equidistant. for anywhere.
hypothetically, if I were coming to Mid Ohio,
Yeah.
Could I
3 hours?
3 hours? Ooh, maybe I'll find a way. Maybe I'll find a way to pop in and say hello and check out your
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
I'd like
it's
to.
actually it's going to the fellow I'm going to see tomorrow.
Oh,
So
yeah?
it's going to be at thermal
Oh, cool.
in 2 months.
That'll be sweet.
Yeah, it'd be a lot
I'll
of
fuck
fun.
with that. Thermal's they've been iffy about. They decided to stop letting the media use their track. So you can only
Really?
they had a policy for a while. I guess they were trying to sell memberships, and if media like me wanted to test a car and it was a member day, they would just let me come run a few laps, and it was no big deal. But they decided I don't know, either some members got annoyed or someone fucked up and had a big crash or something happened. But they have decided no more freebies for us, which is like wah wah.
And it's right there. I mean,
I love free track time. I love free. All I want is free track time.
and not paying for the tires. That's even better.
Not paying for the tires.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy a lot of tires. And thank you, Michelin. Michelin hooks me up if I need them
Yeah,
too.
we're direct with them. But it's the only tire we carry.
There's a meme going around the web circles where it's the what tires should I get, the blah blah blah, and the meme is just like suck it up and get the Michelin.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it's the only thing that touches the road, and it's, at the end of the day, the only thing that keeps you safe.
I know.
And sadly, we had to learn that the hard way with my brother.
And Paul.
Yeah.
And
See?
Roger.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my fucking friend, and get this, my friend Chris bought an RV from a guy. He's not really a car person. Put his wife and his new baby in this thing and drove it from Pennsylvania to LA. And about New Mexico, he started getting blowouts, and he got like 3 of them. Well, it turns out all 6 of the fucking tires in this thing were different ages, different brands, different dates, and one of the blowouts took out the entire wiring harness of the ECU of the ECU of the thing, which went in, on the other side of the wheel well, and it stranded him in Oklahoma or something for like days. And he called me. He goes, "What?" I go, "Dude, get tired." And finally, he calls me back. He goes, "I got the thing sorted. I put tires on it." And he goes, "Now that I know how this thing is supposed to drive," he's like, "I can't believe I did that." And
not with the wife and the baby. That's not good.
I said, dude.
Mm.
I said, guys, I said, you're literally going to kill them.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
I'm glad nothing bad happened.
No, nothing bad. I mean, nothing.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
No, nothing. I wasn't going to take it to the dark place today. But Erik Keller from Enthusiast Auto Group, EAGBMW.com.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see that crazy E30. That's going to be kick-ass.
Yeah, it'd be fun to go rip that baby around.
And have a safe drive back to Ohio in the 850.
Yeah.
Drive it. Don't be a pussy. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah.
I will see you next time.
Absolutely.
Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. You just need something to speak into, something to get it to the internet, and hopefully something to say. I'll see you guys next week. Good day.